Hi, welcome to ThreatTraq Essentials. We're going to take a look at this week's ThreatTraq stories and see what everyday cybersecurity lessons we can learn from them. I'm here with Mike Klepper. How you doing, Mike?
Doing well, Don. How are you?
Great. Let's talk about the story Ganesh brought to us, which was sort of a survey and overview of the state of ransomware. Tell me, what were we able to learn from that story? What lessons do we take away?
You know, the big lesson from that story is that if you are infected with ransomware, you really need to use that as an opportunity to hone in and improve your overall cybersecurity program. Paying the ransom might be a short-term fix. It's not advised, but even then, that isn't going to fix the underlying problem, which could get you into trouble later.
So, in many ways, getting infected with ransomware is a symptom of a bigger problem you may have.
Absolutely.
Now, let's talk about one of the two stories you brought to us. The first one was the FBI gave a warning about an advanced persistent threat group that is actively exploiting a vulnerability in VPN. Tell me about that. Yeah,
so there is some APT groups or groups, undisclosed at this point, that are looking for particular vulnerabilities inside of the Fortinet SSL VPN platform that are actually a few years old. It's a collection of 3 vulnerabilities that span from 2018 through 2020. It's important to, this is a great lesson in that it's not just 0 days and new things that are being exploited by threat actors. They go back and look at things that organizations haven't patched and actively try to exploit them because those things are going to get them in the door and be a lot easier for them actually to develop than 0 days might be.
So given that, what advice do we want to give people to stay safe?
Really it's all about the fundamentals, right? Making sure that you're, prioritizing your patches, that you're getting those patches rolled out in a timely manner, and that you're not simply focusing on critical and high-risk patches and then leaving other patches linger in your environment. Certainly they can, have a prioritized timeline, if you will, but you want to make sure you're getting around to those over time.
And let's take a look at the other story you brought to us, which is really about firmware. We always hear about software and devices being exploited, but not so much firmware. Tell me about this story.
Yeah, firmware has been an emerging attack surface for the last couple of years. Saw some of the first firmware-related malware in the wild back in 2018. And this is really, the software that's encoded on the chips in the computer, right, or in the device. And if attackers are able to infect or modify or install malware at that level, it's going to load up before the operating system and before your other security controls and really provide them the high ground, if you will, in that battle between cybersecurity and malicious threat actor. And that is something that is becoming an increasing focus on by the threat actor community.
So what do you do to protect yourself from an attack that exploits firmware?
Really that's an area that's a big challenge. Right now, a lot of it is manual. There's not a lot of visibility into that layer, which is kind of some of the challenges. But as we see that attack surface continue to become more taken advantage of, we're going to see more tools come to dominance that are going to make maintaining and monitoring for those attacks and changes easier to incorporate into the rest of your cybersecurity program.
Well, thanks for being here, Mike, and thank you all for watching. If you want to keep up on great advice and stories like this each week, just like and subscribe below. And if you want to take a deeper look at these stories, click on the playlist below. We'll see you next time.